Hey guys, what's up? Zax here. Today we are here with the first race of our mini go-kart championship that I've set up between me and a couple of friends. We've got two people's point of view today, and I've also got a bit of extra spare footage that I'll probably upload to one of my other channels. And so yeah, this first race took place in pretty wet conditions, and there are 4 people in this race, but there are a couple that join later. But the 4 you want to look out for is me with the plain white helmet, Ben with the blue helmet, Tom with the black and white helmet, and Joe with the mostly white helmet. So the 2 points of view you're watching is me on the left and Ben on the right. But let's get into this race because the lights are out and away we go. Now, a couple of things. It's obviously in torrentially wet conditions here. You know, it eased on and off during the race, but it was a pretty wet conditions throughout this race, and I think it was raining throughout. And luckily at the start here, it wasn't really raining a huge amount, but obviously the spray off the track wasn't too easy to get through. I just managed to get around the outside of Ben there, and that's promoted me up into 3rd place, and now I'm chasing down Tom in 2nd. Job still leads this race, by the way. He's out in front with that white helmet, so you can see Tom in front. It's sort of got a black and white helmet, it's a checkered helmet as well. So, you know, I think you'll understand, but there are more people that come to this race later, and it gets a little bit confusing. I don't know why they just randomly let some other people out the pit lane, but it kind of sort of spoiled the race for a lot of us here. They kept getting our way and smashing into us, so that was a bit unfortunate. But and you can see here the wet conditions really aren't playing into Ben's favour. He's struggling at the first lap here, and you can see he is gaining here, however, down the long straight because he is faster than me in a straight line because he weighs less. And you can see there, I take the wide line through the corner, and Ben takes the tighter line. You can see Tom in front of me. He is trying to find a way past Job, who is not going long, you know, it's lightning off into the distance. But here is the first bit of carnage. Job spins it, and Tom has to avoid and drive straight off into the tyre wall, which looked really painful. And me and Ben just sort of watched on because we were obviously behind, so we had a bit more time to react to that. So that was unfortunate for Tom. That lost him nearly a lap because we did try and wait up, but they took a long time trying to get his car out of the grass. So that was unfortunate. You can see there me and Ben slowing up. You can see I'm in front here. I'm just, you know, pulling up. I think Ben's pulling up alongside me here, and so we're just like waiting up for us. I'm signaling to wait up for them. Joe was the first one that catches up to us, and then Tom ends up being about 3/4 of a lap down, which is unfortunate. We tried to wait up, but we didn't really want to wait up too much because we could see the people in the pit lane that were getting ready. So we didn't want to, waste too much time with the racing here. But it was good enough. You know, a bit unfortunate for Tom, obviously crashing out in the first lap. You never want that to happen. But yeah, so we're nearly 3 minutes into this race already, and I decided, you know, as I was the first person there, I wanted to make sure that Tom had a bit more of a fighting chance, so I let him go away here, and I think this is where I get the restart underway. And I know nobody was, you know, waving yellow flags or anything, but I decided I think it would be best for the race just to slow everyone up here. So you can see there I've sort of jumped away. It's all hard obviously because we didn't have the lights to tell me or tell anyone when to go, and you can see I ran a little bit wide there, maybe just not really expecting it to be so torrentially bad on the outside of the track there. There was loads of rubbish and all the stuff all over the track because before us there was a 2-hour race, so you know a lot of the water was dissipated off the racing line, but offline it was actually really bad. You know, obviously as people have spun and just came back onto the track, stuff like that. And you can see there I've sort of gone off into the distance now, and going through this final corner, I suppose you would call it the final corner, and Ben's not that far behind me, but I think this is when, yeah, you can see people coming out the pit lane here, and you can see Tom in front of me going through the first turn. And this is when it got a little bit hectic because obviously people coming out the track that hadn't got warm karts, warm tyres, if you would say warm tyres in these conditions. And I'm trying to go down the inside here. I think I'm just going to get it braked into the corner and just get it stopped. Yes, I do. And actually he spun it around. You can see on Ben's screen, he spun it around there. So now we've got to get past this other guy in the black helmet, and I think I just about get through him there. You can see, yeah, I'm not sure. Actually, yeah, on Ben's screen you could see there that he like literally just like stopped. I think here we're coming up to the back of Tom, and this guy in the white helmet, I don't know why, he kept waiting up for me, and I don't know what he was trying to do. He kept waiting up for me and stopping for me, and then like trying to overtake me and then spinning it around. I don't know why he kept doing it. It seems like a bit of a waste of money to come here and wait up for me, but you know, you'll see that as the race goes on. He tries some a bit crazy things, and there we go. I've overtaken Tom there, and you can see Ben has to get around a spinning back marker there, and you can see that guy's letting me through. And at this point in the race I was quite happy, you know, he was just letting me through. I thought that was alright, and Ben's gone for a spin there, and he's rolling back down the hill. There's somebody coming, but luckily no contact made there, as Ben has to sort of drive up the hill a little bit there to get round. So He had to avoid a spin and then he spun himself, which was a bit unfortunate of him, but you can see on Ben's screen there 2 flashes, and that was me and this guy in the white helmet. I guess that's what we're going to call him throughout this race. And it was an interesting race between us two, some nice battles. I think he went down the inside of me here, or maybe he didn't. He went some really good moves throughout this race, but we'll see what happens with that later on. I won't spoil it too much, but there is some great racing, so you might as well stick around if you haven't got much else to do. So we're 5 or so minutes into this race now. Ben's probably a little bit hesitant to drive flat out once again after the spin he had around this part of the track 1 lap ago. I think it was this corner we had to drive up the hill, so he's taking it a little bit slower. And on my screen, I think we're coming up to the back of 2 back markers. I think this guy in front of me is the silver helmet guy who came out the pits a couple of laps ago, and then in front of him you've got the black helmet guy. So I'm going to probably refer to them through their helmet colour, unless I know it's Tom, Job or Ben, then I'll point them out to you, because it's really at the moment it's us 4 and then also my dad and Harry, who are actually part of this sort of mini championship we're doing as well, and maybe other people down the line. We don't know what's going to happen, but at the moment this first race it was only 4 people. You see the guy in the white helmet there overtakes me, good manoeuvre around the outside there and gets it a bit sideways, but we get the momentum out the corners, we didn't slide it, and we get it into the slipstream here as we're trying to go for an overtake. He's pulling away in a straight line, he's faster in a straight line. I think I'm pretty much heavier than everyone else in this race, but we can see he's squirming under the brakes, he nearly loses it, so I was a bit hesitant to go anywhere. Because he was sort of squirreling around all over the place. He was trying to brake really late, but it didn't seem to be working out for him. You can see a bit of a slide for Ben there as he was going around the bottom bend, maybe just losing a bit of grip, but it doesn't matter too much. He's got underway once again. You can see I'm following this guy with the white helmet, and he brakes really late here and he spins it around, and I just about avoid him. And I was a bit confused. I think I waved my hand at him like, what are you doing here? He seemed to be taking some very risky moves. He was trying to slide it and drift it all over the place, but it wasn't really working out for him. And he wasn't really in the same race because he was already like, I think he was 2 laps down or 3 laps down. It doesn't really matter, to be perfectly honest, but yeah, he wasn't really racing me because I pretty much knew as soon as if I just kept it on the track for the first at least half of the race, I'd be able to build up a good lead, because I knew this guy with the white helmet was, you know, good and decent, that he was a good driver, and you know, he was, you know, going go-karting a lot because obviously he had some like professional stuff with the helmet and all the overalls and stuff. But yeah, he was a couple of laps down, so I didn't really feel much pressure there. The guy in the silver helmet there really distracting me, and Ben is coming up to a yellow flag zone, and I'm coming up to it in a second too. So you're going to see a little race between me and Ben. We're going to be in the same part of the track, I think, for the first time since the first couple of laps. Ben's being very tentative on his first couple of laps. The last time he went go-karting in the rain on this circuit, it didn't really work out for him. He didn't really like it. So this race, you know, turned out much better for him. He enjoyed it a lot more. And yeah, it's a lot more fun. So I think I am slowly catching Ben here, not by a huge amount each lap. I mean, over 8 minutes, it's nearly been a lap, but he's had a couple of mistakes in there. So, you know, over 8 minutes to gain a lap isn't really that much. So he's been driving quite well. He hasn't been go-karting on this track nearly as much as I have. So, especially in the rain as well. You can see here, he's on the inside, I'm trying to go around the outside. I was waiting for this guy, seeing if he's right behind me. You can see I sort of run into the back of Ben here. I try and go for an outside manoeuvre. There's a bit of contact, and I'm not really sure if that really affected Ben, but I got around the outside there, a bit of a risky manoeuvre. But you know, I think it was good hard racing. He left me enough room on the outside, and a little bit of contact there. I don't think I would have been able to, like, I had to steer in a bit early, to be perfectly honest. Otherwise I might have ended up in the grass. So a bit lucky for me that I didn't cause an accident there, but a little bit of contact was made, but nothing major, thankfully. So at the moment, neither of us have really got much pressure. I'm sorry for all the water and stuff that goes over the lens, by the way. Obviously there's not really anything I can do about that whilst I'm racing, and obviously I could try and wipe it off, but I don't know whether I've knocked the camera back or anything. So there's somebody stopped at the middle of that corner there. That was the hardest corner of the whole track. I don't know, especially on my go-kart, because it wasn't steering in too easily. So I think everyone is having the same issues, obviously, because, you know, obviously in the wet conditions your go-kart isn't going to steer in as easily. But I did feel that it didn't seem to be alright, because around the other corners it seemed to be perfectly fine. I don't know whether it's just maybe the sharpness of that turn. I don't know. I've never driven it in these wet conditions. I've driven it one time in, you know, similarly wet conditions, but it was nowhere near as heavy as this. It was, you know, at least it was, you know, not even raining at that time. But you can see Ben going a bit deep into that top hairpin. I'm making a slight mistake over the curbing on the outside, and Ben was coming up to a back marker, I think, there, or it might have actually been Tom, I'm not too sure, but him and Tom were having a good race throughout, They were very close in terms of lap times and on the track at the same time, so you know, watch out for that battle. Tom obviously the one with the black and white helmet and also a checkered on it as well, so I think you might be able to see it. If you go into HD, you'll be able to watch this in much more detail. So you can see now on my screen on the left hand side, catching up to another go-kart, and he spun it around. I'm not too sure who that was. I think that might have been the silver helmet guy, and I think Ben came up to a part of the track there, and it was another spun car. I think this is where the silver guy spun it. I don't even know, to be perfectly honest, I'm forgetting. And you can see this guy in the white helmet is waiting up for me. He did this about 3 times in this race, I think. He like made a mistake, then over a couple of laps he waited up for me. It was kind of frustrating. I just wanted to get on my race and not even bother with him, because I knew he was you know, purposely trying to wait up for me to maybe even, you know, try and get me involved in an accident or what. I don't know what he was trying to do, try and show off, what, I don't really know, but it didn't really work out for him. And I think I got a bit wide here. Oh, there's a car in the middle of the track, or cart I should say, in the middle of the track, so I have to dive to the right hand side off the track. I was lucky to not have to go into the grass there, and I think Ben might be going to the same part of the track as well here, so we might see that car still in the middle of the track. No, it's been cleared, which is lucky. I think you can see he's not too far ahead down the road, so Ben is coming up to the back of the silver helmet guy who spun it around, and that is all good for Ben, so he doesn't have to overtake him. I think the silver helmet guy and the sort of, I can't remember, I think it's the black helmet guy, both of them were pretty new to go-karting by the looks of it, because they were, you know, going quite slowly, and obviously I would too if it was these conditions on my first time go-karting. So, you know, it was a lot of fun. Sliding about all over the place was good. I mean, Tom was only in his ever second go-kart race, and both race, I suppose, these are only sort of rental karts, and both of them have been in wet conditions, so hopefully for the next race it'll be in dry conditions, so so Tom can have experience in the dry. And there's a kart spun around, forgive me if I say car throughout this, because I probably will, but a kart spun around on the sort of centre of the corner there, and Ben having to go quite slowly to avoid it. And I'm going to come up to that same point of the track here, I think, as well, and I've run it wide. I think I was sort of looking at the people over that side of the track. I wasn't really paying too much focus onto my turning point, and you can see there, lost the position to the white helmet guy, and I suppose he's got the green overalls. Maybe we can call him the green overalls guy, I don't know, or fluorescent, I don't really know, but he's got in front of me here, so we're getting into the slipstream, and I go for an absolutely late brake manoeuvre down the inside, and I got it stuck. I don't think he was expecting that. I was pretty lucky with that, if I'm totally honest. He was lucky, you know, to be honest, because I don't think I normally would have gone for a move like that, but I wanted to make sure I got past him, because it was quite frustrating to have him weaving all over the place in front of me. And now we're trying to go around the outside. The silver helmet guy, I think the white helmet guy is going to be down our inside. Yes, he is. And now he's going to try and, yep, he's got the inside, and that's good for him, so he's got the manoeuvre done, and that promotes him. Actually, that doesn't promote him anyway. I'm sort of joking there. He obviously doesn't, he's a couple of laps down, doesn't really promote him anywhere, but I think we missed the car on the apex of that corner there, and I think we're not too long to catching Ben again, because Ben has made a couple of mistakes, got to slow down for accidents and stuff, and that means he's sort of slowed up a lot over the last couple of laps. But yeah, I'm following this white helmet guy. I was trying to look at his lines and see where I was faster. I was definitely faster that last corner, and also I was a lot later on the brakes. When he was late on the brakes, he was sort of squirming all over the place. I don't really know what's happening with that, but yes. So for anyone interested, the two cameras I'm using here, the left hand side is a HD Hero 3, on the right hand side it's HD Hero 2. I've got to say the HD Hero 2 has got a bit more vibrant colours, but it was a bit more of an expensive camera when I bought it, so yeah, that's just to focus on there if you're interested in cameras. And you can see here the white helmet guy spins it around, a bit too ambitious there, and as you can see I'm shaking my head, because I'm like, what is this guy doing? Why is he taking all these risks? Why can't he just slow up a little bit and get around the track a bit? He did get involved in a lot of spins and accidents throughout this race, not just when he was around me. So, you know, he was trying to, you know, maybe get involved with everyone else, but I don't really know what was happening there. But, you know, I managed to obviously get through that, you know, through that without any contact, luckily, because it was really close. Especially when you're racing so close to someone else, it's really hard to avoid them if they make a big mistake like that. And I think this is when he waits up again to wait up for me, and I'm running a little bit wide there, and I'm coming up to the back of Tom here, I think, with the black and white helmet, and it should be quite exciting because Tom is on his second go-kart session, but he's really improved since the first sort of couple of minutes he did in the first session. so much faster, was a lot better at defending, still spun it around a couple of times, but then everyone does in these wet conditions. A really late break move down the inside, you can see Ben has spun it around at the top of the corner, and I've come around the corner and seen Ben there and didn't expect that. And then we're going to dive it down the inside of Ben. Luckily there is no contact, I managed to give him space, and I went around the outside there, but then running out a little bit wide, getting a bit sideways through there, and luckily for Ben I didn't lose it and spin into the path with him. But so now Ben and Tom probably going to have a bit of a battle here. I think Ben is a little bit faster, to be perfectly honest, because he's done more go-kart sessions, but obviously Tom is looking and improving all the time, so that's something to watch out for. Another yellow flag at the top of the corner, top of the track I should say, not top of the corner, and I managed to get through it, and so did Ben. I think everyone else needs to brake a little bit more in the sort of emergency yellow flag zones. I do obviously brake, but I don't slow all the way down to 0, which I think a lot of people do. And you can see someone else spun there. Literally so many people spinning in this race, it's hard to keep track, but overall it was a really fun race. I would like to do it in these conditions again, but I think it would be nice to finally have another dry race. I think the last 3 or 4 times I went go-kart and it's been in the rain, so nice to be maybe in the dry conditions once again. But you can see I'm having to correct the car all the time, little things, and you can see there Ben makes a small mistake and smashes into the tyre wall, and it looks like Ben wasn't straight behind him, and I make a mistake at the same time. So much things going on at the same time. So Ben hitting the tyres at the top, I ran wide, lost a bit of time there. I'm not really, too harsh on myself there, because a lot of the laps I was doing a similar thing, so definitely lost a little bit of time, but luckily not a huge amount. Now this is sort of the midpoint of the race here. It's a 30-minute race, just over 30 minutes actually. I think it was more like a 32-minute race. And so yeah, you can see the white helmet guy in front of Ben. He's going to be trying to either close down me or wait up. I'm not too sure what's happening there, and you can see they're trying to fix the tyres that Ben hit a lap ago. I'm not too sure what's happening with Ben there. I think he just lost the car and ended up in the tyres on the outside. You can see someone running in front of the track in front of Ben. Bit frustrating that they were sort of just running out in front of the track, in front of the cars, Kart even, and that was really frustrating, because you sort of jam the brakes sometimes and it causes even more accidents. If there was just a yellow flag, that'd be even better. I go past another spun Kart that spun in front of me. I think I hit the tyre there, even though after they just put it back. The thing is, when someone else hits them, they normally put them even further into the sort of road, so you sort of don't realise it, and then someone else spun round there. I think that might have been Job. He was on really good form today, Job. Actually, I think this is the fastest it ever been, and that was his only 4th go-kart session, I think. So yeah, you can see him recovering now on Ben's screen, and Ben gets round him, carrying a bit more speed there, luckily, so there was no sort of accident. And now coming up to the top of the hill here, I think I'm coming up to another lapped car that I've got to try and get around. But as I was just talking about the tyres, they normally put them in a bit of a sort of closer parts of the track, so if you've been doing the same line each and every lap and you go around there one time and it's different, you sort of don't really recognise it and you hit them, so that's unfortunate. But I think I'm coming up to the back of another person. I think this might be Tom again. I think he must have spun it or something to lose a lap in not that long, so he must have spun it maybe in a battle with Ben that Ben didn't capture, and maybe he's just jamming on the brakes, which happens a lot, and Ben spins it around. I'm not sure there was contact there with the white helmet guy. The white helmet guy was crashing into the back of quite a lot of people and taking them out, which is a bit unfortunate, and somebody else spins it around in front of me and Tom. That was quite a scary moment there, because I was sort of following him and then he spun, so I had to sharply go on the accelerator, and you can see on Ben's screen there the white helmet guy is most certainly waiting up for me, which is just a bit unfortunate, because I don't know whether he just saw me with the sort of all the go-kart stuff and expected me to be the fastest, which obviously I was a bit faster than everyone else, but it's just unfortunate to see him sort of getting in the way of everyone else, especially Ben, Tom and Joe, because obviously it's sort of ruining their experience as well, which is just unfortunate for them, having to avoid him when he's going like 10 miles an hour when maybe they're going 30 normally. I don't know, that's just an example. So I'm still behind Tom on my screen. He was actually putting up a really defensive job here, and he was doing a really good job of keeping up with the rest of them, but it's just unfortunate. I think he went for a couple of spins, which really lost him quite a bit of time. I think I do eventually get past him here. I think I might be trying to get into the slipstream here, and it's just unfortunate that you've got the bit of water in the middle of my screen, which is just unfortunate, but that's just things that happen here. And I think, yeah, we're getting into the slipstream here, and even in go-karts you do recognise the slipstream. and just because obviously it's pushing the air. I think there was actually someone smashed into the wall there on Ben's screen. I wasn't really paying much attention, I was looking at my screen, but I think there was someone smashed into the tyre wall there, and there's someone stopped at the bottom there as well for Ben. Ben's capturing all the accidents on his side of the screen here, and I think I was really lucky here to, yeah, there was someone that crashed on the side there. I'm not sure who that was. That might have been Joe, but I'm not too sure. Or maybe the silver helmet guy. The silver helmet guy did end up crashing quite a bit, and there's the guy at the bottom. Actually, I think that was Job spun around at the top of the circuit, and that's the silver helmet guy stopped back there. So lots of stuff going on in this 30-minute race. I think it was really fun. Hopefully it's enjoyable to watch. I know it's maybe a little bit confusing to watch from this point of view, maybe having 2 points of view, but yeah, you can see the white helmet guy now in front of Tom, and I think this is when the action really sort of starts the build here. I think this might have been the last time he waked up from me. I can't exactly remember, but yeah, I'm definitely getting a little bit slowed up behind Tom here. You can see he's sliding all over the place, and there was a little bit of contact there. I was able to divert across the outside curbing. I'm sorry to Tom if I hit him there, because that might have been quite a harsh contact actually. I think we might see on Ben's screen here, Ben's coming around the corner. Tom might be just maybe recovering here. No, Tom has got it underway, I think, and actually it was around this corner, wasn't it? So yeah, should be all recovered by now, and yeah, Tom's out of the way, which is good. I'm thinking he might have go around the next corner, and I think I just made a move down the inside of the white helmet guy whilst I was talking about all of that. I'm sorry if I missed some of the action. I'm always sort of looking at one of the screens at a time. Most of it's been on my screen so far, because I think there's been a bit more action, but a lot more spins on Ben's side of the screen. So much action in a 30-minute race. Only if Formula 1 was like this and they were driving around on dry tyres in the wet conditions, that would be so much fun to watch, but I'm pretty sure the sport wouldn't agree to it because of safety and all that. But Ben is just keeping on the track here. Yeah, I think he's gone for like 1 spin or so far, so he's really not done too badly in these pretty wet conditions here, which I think anyone would struggle with, especially if they haven't been go-karting too much. I think this is Ben's like 7th or so time go-karting. I must have been around here like 40 odd times, so I definitely know the track so much better than those guys. I think everyone except the white helmet guy was a little bit slower than me. A yellow flag now for Ben. I think that someone spun it around there. It might have been Job or the silver helmet guy. It's kind of hard to make the difference out from these little screens I'm watching it on, but you might be able to know when you watch this back which is which, because I'm probably always wrong. And so we're still ahead of the white helmet guy. I'm not really too sure what's happening. Having to counter steer quite a bit. Obviously when you get it sideways here, you need to make sure that you're keeping the car in a straight line. But this is the corner where he made so much mistakes, but luckily that time I didn't run it all over the curb on the outside. But yeah, I was pretty much just blocking him here. I didn't really want him to get past, so I wasn't driving at 100% here. I was just trying to keep him behind me. So I think this car spun around in front of Ben again, and he's having to get around him. We're going to be catching up to the back of Ben once again quite shortly here, so hopefully that's all captured on the tape. So going around the top hairpin there, and I suppose it is sort of a hairpin. It's not a really tight hairpin, but I suppose you would class it as a hairpin. And you can see here, when I was driving slowly here, I distinctly remember this, he was just sort of ramming into the back of me. I don't really know why. It's like, you just don't know whether he was trying to make me speed up or something. But yeah, he definitely did ram into the back of me quite a bit, which is just unfortunate, because it was a really good race up until about this point in the race, because he was driving really cleanly. I wasn't really frustrated that he was waiting up all the time, and but yeah, at this sort of point when he started hitting the back of me and stuff, that really was quite frustrating. So yeah, so you can see here I'm trying to keep it on the track. So is Ben on that right hand side of the screen. I'm having to correct the car all the time, because obviously in the wet conditions you've got to put more input into the steering wheel, especially around here. And I'm actually getting a little bit better throughout the race and not running so wide, but I did run wide quite a bit through that corner, which is unfortunate. I think he might have gone through down the inside here. Yes, he has. You can see the Kart down the inside, and he's got the manoeuvre done, and that moves him. I don't know whether that actually promotes him a position or not, because I'm not sure where he is in relative terms to Ben and that. But we go for another late braking move down the inside. I'm not sure whether, I'm not sure what he was thinking, but surely after I've already done that move before, he would have thought I would be doing it again. But as soon as he overtakes me, I get him back on the brakes. So I'm not sure whether he was scared to go on the brakes after last time, but a little bit of running over the curve there from my point of view. But I keep it under control, and I'm underway once again. And we're not that far away from Ben here, and we're coming up to a group of about 3-4 cars, I think, karts even. I knew I would make mistakes throughout this race. But yeah, I'm not sure too sure that is in front of me. I guess it's the silver helmet guy because he spins it out once again, and you can see all the time I'm just counter steering and trying to keep the car on the track. We're not too far behind Ben here. I would say about 3-4 seconds, maybe even that, and we've gone for a spin. I'm not too sure what happened there. He either hit me or I just maybe took a bit too much speed into there, and I obviously did make a bit of contact with him, which I'm sorry about. And so that's unfortunate. You know, he did wait up. I don't know whether maybe he waited up because he hit me. I'm not really too sure what happened there. I'd have to re-watch it and see what happened, but that was unfortunate. It lost me a little bit of time, and you can see there, whilst being a bit angry after spinning around, I ran it into the grass, which isn't good. If you're wondering what's happening on Ben's screen here, he's catching up to the back of Tom. I think these two are actually on the same lap here, so that's something to watch out for as Ben spins it, and that could be the position gone from him at the moment. And I think currently, as you're watching this now, I'm in first, Ben is in second, and Job is in third with Tom in fourth. I think that's how it all lines up at the moment, obviously because these guys came out of the pits a couple of laps later than us, so you know, obviously there'll be a couple of laps behind. So I think Ben, obviously after spinning it out, is not that far up the road. We both spun it on the within like one lap on the same corner as well. Ben taking a very tight line to the corner, so I take a bit of a wider line, then cut into the corner, and watch the other guy, the white helmet guy, just takes a wide line throughout. And you can see this guy trying to get past Ben, but just can't find a move around the outside or anything. Ben maximum knocked through that corner and just can't seem to get it around there very smoothly. The guy, this is all over the place, and I spin it around. 100% my fault there. I saw that guy sort of jump over the curbs, and I think I just jammed on the brakes because I thought he was going to cause an accident or something. So he kept that under control. I didn't. I spun it around, and you know, that lost me quite a bit of time here. I'm not sure the white helmet guy goes down the inside of Ben. Nearly a bit of contact there as a bit of a wild manoeuvre, but luckily he kept that one, and he lives for another day. You can see Ben's looking around. I think he told me after the race he was wondering where I'd went at this point in the race. Afterwards I did obviously tell him that I'd spun it. 100% my fault that time. I'm not sure what happened around that part of the track on my screen a couple of laps ago. I think he might have hit me. Obviously, you know, feel free to watch it back and see what happens. But yes, definitely a really exciting race here. So much action. I can barely get in everything that's happening in this race, and I've been talking for 30 odd minutes straight. So that's kind of crazy to think about. Now I'm looking at the timeline of recording. Ben makes a bit of a mistake at the top of the track, the hairpin, and I'm pretty much following him through here now, about 2 or 3 seconds behind. But sadly, in a couple of seconds' time, Ben's camera is going to run out of memory card space, so that's going to go down, which is just unfortunate. And you can see there, which is just unfortunate. So that means we're going to only have my camera for the rest of this race. Now, the reason that hit Ben's camera run out of memory, was that we'd already got a couple of go-kart stuff saved on there, which was unfortunate. So a bit unfortunate we didn't get the whole race with two people's point of view, but you now get to watch the finale of this race, the end, a couple of minutes, about 4 or 5 minutes to go from my point of view. And you know, I think the quality is better on this camera, but I don't think the sort of pitch quality is as vibrant. So we're coming up to the back here of Job, I'd like to say. I think it's this is Job. We're coming up to the back too here. So whether we can get past him very quickly, I'm not too sure, but he's sliding about all over the place. You can see the spray coming up from the back of the go-karts here as we go through here, and I'm going to try and look for a move around the outside. There's car spun in the middle of the track. So nearly a massive accident there between me and Ben. You can see he's signalling. I think he wanted me to go down the inside here, but there was a yellow flag, so I stopped signalling to him like there was a yellow flag there. So yeah, that's always interesting to have to talk about after these go-kart races. I know that's not competitive karting. I'm sure people are going to put that down in the comments section somewhere, but yeah, these are just rent karts, but you know, we have a lot of fun. It's really, really exciting, and hopefully you guys enjoy this race as well. It's been a lot of fun to commentate, and we're not even over yet. So you can see the white helmet guy has waited up for me once again. I'm not sure what he expected me to do. I think he might have wanted me to go down the inside there, but I did go through the inside at the end, but I sort of went on the brake a little bit. And through here, once again, a yellow flag zone, so I slow it up a little bit and get a bit sideways. And you know, he was right behind me. He was a really fast driver, but it's just unfortunate he just kept waiting up for me and getting in the way of everyone's race. So yeah, so I'm still, I think, behind Job here, who we're trying to catch down and get past, but he makes a bit of a mistake here, does he? Or is he getting through? No, he gets a good run out of there, and now we're coming up. Oh wait, is this Job? I don't even know, to be perfectly honest. I think that was white helmet Guy might even be someone different. I don't know. Maybe it was Job. I'm not too sure. Looking up to the silver helmet guy, and there is Job. Yep, they're gonna try and get it down the inside here. Sorry, the white helmet guy. That was that guy you were seeing there. That was Job. I'm just getting so confused here. The white and the silver helmet look like identical. I don't know why I'm getting confused here. Now you're just watching a bubble or a bit of rain or something on the middle of your sort of screen, and I don't know why. But you know, I suppose it is only a GoPro. It's not exactly the most high-tech piece of equipment, so obviously they can't have it so it sort of just gets through the water every time sun comes on. But you can still see the rays. I think that water will dissipate any second now, and it will be off your screen as you get up to the end point of the track. No, it doesn't happen. Anyway, we've only got a couple of minutes left of this race. It's not done on laps, it's done on the amount of time, which we booked was 30 minutes, so we've already gone over that. But they normally give us a couple of extra minutes, which is nice of them. But you can see here, we're coming up to the back of Tom. He's lost a bit of time here, but overall I think his driving has, you know, supremely improved over the last couple of you know, races that we've done. He's taken part in 4 sessions, but that's ended up being on 2 different days. And so yeah, he took part in 3 10-minute sessions in the rain, and now just 1 30-minute race in the rain. So that's kind of crazy. He improved quickly here. I'm not sure what I was trying to do here. I saw him move down the inside, and the guy sort of closed in at the last second. And through there, I did hit the back of him. I'm not the sort of person to normally hit someone like that. I normally ranked a little bit better, but I think after 30 minutes or so of driving, I was sort of losing a bit of concentration, as I did hit him back there. But now we get the move down the inside done, and we're up behind Tom once again. We're going to try and get into his slipstream, and we do get through the slipstream, and we try and go around the outside here, but I lose grip as soon as I get onto the dirty part of the track here, and I think he's going side by side with me here. I try and get into slipstream. I'm a little bit faster in a straight line than Tom. Can I outbrake him around the outside? I'm not too sure. I think I got a no bumping sign there, and rightly so, to be perfectly honest, because obviously I did hit the back of him down here. I think I was just getting a little bit tired at this point in the race. I wasn't really reacting as fast as I normally did. But Tom is obviously going a little bit slower now, probably because he realises the pressure that he's under from 2 people. And you can see we're going side by side here, sliding all over the place. And now running up through here, we're going side by side. He gets the advantage, he's keeping to that side of the track, and at the last second he's turned into the corner whilst I was there. I was really angry at that, because I was going side by side with him, he was on that side of the track, then at the last second he sort of turned into me. Even though I was just alongside, I got a no bumping for that, which I was a bit annoyed about, but you know, I didn't really care after the race, to be perfectly honest. That guy caused me much grief throughout this race already, and I don't really care spinning him around, because obviously he kept running to the back of me. He took me out already before, so I wasn't really too angry that I took him out. I know that's probably a bad thing to say, but yeah. So we're not too far from the end of this race here. We've still got Tom in front of us, who's managed to, you know, probably doesn't realise it, but it's sort of helped me and the other guy get involved in a couple of battles. But I think finally, as Tom gets stuck behind the silver helmet guy, we're going to get 2 moves done in one as we dive it down the inside. It's the silver helmet guy really going quite slowly there. And we're getting into the last couple of minutes here. This might even be the last minute as we're cruising around now. And I think it's telling us to slow down because there is a kart spun around. I think that's actually Ben that was spun around there. It would have been nice to see from his point of view what happened there. But is this the checkered flag? I'm not too sure. I think we've got 1 more lap here of racing to go, and then we'll put it into pit lane. But yeah, a bit unfortunate. We were going side by side through that corner, and then that guy sort of turned in on me. I don't know how you would sort of describe that, because he was sticking to that side of the track, then he sort of dived across at the last second. I think he was trying to follow Tom's line, but obviously I was there. I was not going to back out of it. So you know, you can go back and judge that for yourself, but I honestly think there wasn't really a huge amount I should have done there. I was leading the race, so it's not really like I should have been, you know, getting out their way, if you will. But anyway, that's the finish. We win the race. You can see I'm getting pretty happy that I won the race and managed to get through 34 or so minutes without doing too much wrong there. I think I had a pretty good race there. It was a lot of fun. Let me know what you thought in the comment section, guys. Did you enjoy this commentary, or would you like to see more in the future? If you would, just let me know, and I definitely will be recovering the rest of this season. I probably will recover the rest of the season, but maybe not full races. I don't know. I'm really hoping to get more camera angles and stuff. I did actually, my dad was recording this race from the side of the track, so I'm not sure. I might edit up like a little bit of a montage and put that for one of my second channels, even on the slowdown like that guy spun it. And you can see there, I'm sort of like punching the air in delight, and yeah. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's been Alex. I'm out of here. Goodbye. Hi guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video, it is much appreciated. If you have any comments, be sure to leave them in the comment section down below and hopefully I'll respond to as many as possible. If you want to check out GT Omega, there is also a link down in the description, also some sales on recently as it is Christmas time, so if you want to grab a bargain there, it might be one down in the description. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video, I appreciate you watching. It's been Alex and I'm out of here. Goodbye.